to everyone Winifred UG. So this is our fabric today as we make this off-shoulder dress. So I've folded my fabric according to the largest measurement, which is the hip measurement, divided by 4, then plus more 3 inches plus another 1 inch for sewing allowance, and then the length is about 40 inches. So I have both the front and the back together. It's all the same. Everything is folded into 2. So since this is an off-shoulder dress, that is the front and that is the back, everything is just folded into 2 and everything is just the same. No zip allowances needed, since we'll be using an elastic. So since this is an off-shoulder dress, I'll be taking my measurements from 5 inches. You can either use 4 or 5. You take off about 4 inches or 5 inches, but in this case I'm taking off 5 inches. So all my measurements will be from that 5 inches. But since we will be needing a casing for our elastic, I have to consider that measurement. So I'm going up by 1.5 inches, and that will be the casing for my elastic, and then another 1 inch that will be for the ruffles. But since all this will be folded, I have to take all this measurement and double it. So if this is 2.5 inches, I'll get another 2.5 inches, and that will be 5, so that I'll be folding. So let's just hide away those allowances first. But you can even leave it. So since this is off shoulder, we are starting from 5. We are taking off 5 inches. So from this extreme edge, I will measure about 3 inches or 3.5. In this case, I'm using 3.5 inches. I label there as the width, and in this case we are determining our armhole. So I determine my armhole length, which is at 8 inches, as you see there. Then I mark. So there I just shape out the armhole. You just slightly make a curve like that, and that's all. Then after, you just bring out all this excess that we hid before. Then you continue this line up to the extreme end, then you cut off. So now we've shaped out our armhole on this off-shoulder ruffle dress. Remember, all this upper part will be for the casing and the ruffles, the casing of the elastic. So now, to cut out our sleeves, I'm determining my sleeve width plus 3 inches for the elastic, and plus like half an inch or 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So just bring your front the front piece, or the front piece, then you just trace out that armhole that we've just cut. You just trace it out at the extreme edge. I have another video on how to cut and sew an off-shoulder dress, so you can check it out on this channel. So here I'm just determining my sleeve length. Then also I add 3 inches for the elastic, since we'll be passing the elastic, then plus like half an inch as sewing allowance. So my sleeve width was about 6 inches plus 3 inches, that made me 9, plus half an inch sewing allowance. Then after getting all those measurements, I connected the line to this upper part. Here we just connect this line to that so that our sleeve is shaped out. So after everything, you just get your pair of scissors and cut this out. So this is what I am doing here. And after cutting everything out, you just use this first sleeve that we've cut out, you trace it out on another piece of fabric exactly, and get another sleeve, and each of those sleeves, so here I'm just tracing it out to get another sleeve, and after I just cut out as before, just like that. So after here I just went out and cut my pockets. So fold out a piece of fabric, then put your hand just like I'm doing here, separate your fingers, don't make them too tight, then just shape out the pockets. Mine was about it was like 8 by 10 inches, so that was like 8 in width, and then the length was about 10 inches. Then I cut it out just as you see there. So as you cut this out, you have to have 2 pieces for each side, and each of those two those 2 pieces make the 2 pockets. So you have 4 pieces where each 2 make 1 pocket. I also cut out a rope or a belt that I'll be tying in the middle just in case I need it, and it is 2.5 times my waist length, or you can even use 3 times your waist length to determine the length of that belt. So after all that cutting, we will have to go to the sewing machine, and at the sewing machine, this is how we're going to sew everything. You get your front piece and one of your sleeves, right sides facing each other. You match up or you align those armhole areas, then sew along. Then still with that same sleeve that you've joined on the front fabric, get the other part of that same sleeve and join it to one side of the back fabric, just like that. That is what we're going to do at the sewing machine. So I've already joined. Remember, we are sharing one sleeve between 2 parts of between the 2 parts of the fabric, that is one front and one back. I did the same at the back, at the other side was for the front. So after there, I'll do the same to the other side. Remember, one sleeve is shared between 2 parts of both the front and the back. So after I determined where to place my pockets, so I measured just 9 inches from where my armhole ended, or from my bust point. I measured 9 inches, and that is where we're going to sew our pockets, still right sides facing each other. And at around half an inch, I'll just sew along. So this is what I'm doing here. And after the sewing, this is how the pocket looks like. So I do the same for all the 4 pieces of the 2 pockets. And guys, after I align both the front and the back fabric together, just as you see, this is the sleeve. So we're just going to join from the sleeve just there by 1 inch or half an inch according to your sewing allowance. Then you go down to the pocket, you just sew along those 2 pieces of the pocket. You don't just go straight, but you sew around this pocket and then you go down. So you do the same to the other side, and that will be all. Then at the top part where we'll be passing our elastic and where the ruffles will be forming, we are going to measure out about this is just, you know, to simplify everything. So from the top part, I'll measure out about 3 inches like that, 3 inches. And from those 3 inches that I've measured out, as you see there, and then from those 3 inches that I've measured out, I'll measure half an inch and press it along the other 5 inch line where we were starting from. So when you sew it out, when you make a straight stitch just along that side, you remain, you know, after folding off half an inch, will remain with 2.5 inches, where the first 1 inch will be for the ruffles and the 2.5 will be for the elastic. But still we have to separate those 2 spaces. So this is it, guys. After, you know, after stitching a line, I've made the elastic casing, but I have another line in the middle there. I think you're seeing this line that will separate our ruffle line at the top from the elastic casing down. So at the elastic casing, I left 2 inches where I will pass my elastic. So this is what I'm going to do. And after passing the elastic, these are the ruffles that are formed. As you pass the elastic, the ruffles are forming at the top and everything is gathered up together. So that is the 1 inch we left for the ruffles, and then this is where we passed our elastic. So this is how the ruffles are formed. This is it, guys. I also so after there, I'm just going to get another elastic and pass it at the, you know, at the hem of my sleeve. Just like that. After there, I'll just go ahead and hem everything down, and if you have a serger, you can just go ahead and, you know, serge the inside of the dress or an overlocker so that it is neat and finished professionally. So guys, these are the ruffles. The dress is all complete. I completed everything. Everything's just neatly done. As you see in the video, the sleeves are all done perfectly, and this is how the dress looks like. It is a beautiful dress, and this is it with the band or with the belt. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much for watching. That is the pocket. Thank you always for coming back to watch my videos. I love you guys, and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye.